Hello, everyone. This is Phil Yaeger of Yaeger CPA Review. As you know, we try to keep our books as current to date as possible. And we're going to be talking about some items dealing with the exam. Now, these items did not cause any new blueprints, all right? However, we feel it's our responsibility to tell you when it's coming. And the first one we're going to deal with actually is going to start as of January 1st, 2021. All right. And once again, this is not a change in the blueprints. All right. Ron, what is this?
So, Phil, what this is we've been informed by the AICPA directly, right, which we have a strong liaison with, right, on keeping up with exam changes. We have been informed by the examination division that they are going to test 4 particular new items. They're not big, okay, but they're important as of January 1, 2021, okay? And the first one is the CARES Act, right, which was implemented by Congress as a result of our friend the virus, okay, the coronavirus, the pandemic this year. And there are certain provisions in the CARE Act, which we have updated our reg book for, Phil, that they're going to test, okay? And those are the provisions that extend past December 31, 2020, okay? No, nothing really in there earth-shattering. For those of you who have our books, please go to the reg book, the new one that we're producing, and we can provide, you can read in there about the CARES Act. And if you were in one of our webinars recently, Phil actually went through those changes in some great detail, okay, that result from the CARES Act.
The other, so where would they go to look at these changes?
In our books, they would just go to the reg book, right, hit Control F, and hit the capital word CARES, okay? And you'll find it in our book in 1 minute, okay? It's
And
a very short section.
Another place, Ron, we're putting stuff is actually our YouTube channel, all right?
Okay.
We're going to start putting stuff on the YouTube channel. And of course, there will be no cost, all right? And we'll be talking about those, you know, because we do, you know, every once in a while we do a Facebook video. We're trying to stay away from that one, but we constantly come up with material that is of interest to you, and most importantly, should be on the exam. And I just have one comment about the CARES Act. The CARES Act, all right, I don't know how it's going to be treated because remember, we are having a change in administration. So when the president actually gets sworn in January, who knows what provisions of what act will be eliminated, right? So right now, I would say, don't panic about this. Let's also see what happens with the administration, all right, with the CARES Act.
The other changes, Phil, briefly are there's 3 minor changes in auditing, okay? There's been, as you can imagine, remember now, the blueprints haven't been updated since July 1, 2019, Phil, okay? And in the meantime, the PCAOB and the auditing section of the ICPA have been issuing auditing standards. Okay, so there's been a few auditing standards which have been issued. So anyway, there's 3 of them. Again, we've updated our auditing book for them, Phil, and really they're just minor clarifications and changes, okay? Let me just tell you about one of them, and that's pretty much the major one, in my opinion, is they've changed the wording with regards to using the work of a specialist, right, in an audit, okay? And basically, the auditor should not refer to the work or findings of a specialist in their audit report, okay? Why? Well, such a reference might be misunderstood to be a qualification of the auditor's report or a division of the responsibility for the audit report between the auditor and the specialist, neither of which is intended, okay? Further, there may be an inference that the auditor, by making such a reference, performed a more thorough audit than an auditor who does not make a reference to a specialist in their report. Okay?
For example, if you had a client who was in the oil business,
Yep.
and they had to, you know, really, they're told there's oil on the property, but they get a geologist, all right,
Yep.
who's,
Yep.
you know, to appraise the property and make
Yep.
sure there is oil on that. Now,
Yep.
you're saying they should not refer to the fact that they hired a geologist,
Correct. They don't have to or not required to, okay?
but
'Cause
should
it-
they? Should they?
Well, it's in performing the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. Yes, they should engage it if that's a material part, right, of the
Understood.
assets on the balance sheet. Okay,
Okay,
but
thank you.
they're not required to put it on the actual auditor's report.
Okay.
So,
Please,
Phil,
please excuse me, everyone. All right.
yes.
Haven't eaten lunch or breakfast today. Go ahead.
So, Phil, that's basically it for the changes. We've been informed by the AICPA. Those of you that are using Yaeger or considering using Yaeger, please remember we have this in with the AICPA, which is very important in that we get direct updates that they're making to the exam, even when they're not being distributed to everyone in the form of blueprint pages, et cetera. And then let me also remind you, Yaeger CPA materials are the only ones that have the blueprints.
And the last thing I want to mention is I was looking at some of our competitors' websites without announcing their names. And I don't know if they're desperate or what, but I've noticed that their passing rates have gone up to unbelievable numbers. 93, 96,
Crazy, Phil. That's
ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that is, first
not
of
realistic.
all, that's misleading.
Yes, very misleading.
But, as a student, students are impressionable.
Yep.
And they'll look there and they'll say, this course has a 96% pass rate. All right. Actually, there's about 4 or 5, all the same thing. And it just really annoyed me that, the ASCPA doesn't do anything. All right. So therefore, who's left to do something? Phil Yaeger. Right.
Yep.
He has to tell you. And I'm not doing it because I'm trying to compete with the competitors. In fact, I don't want to compete with these people. All right. I wouldn't want to be on the same stage podium with them. All right. They're misleading. I don't like people who mislead just to try to get money into their business. Hey, we need to be honest. Okay. So anyway, thank you, Ron, for those changes. And we'll let the students know any further changes later on as we hear about them.
Yep. And please contact us at Yaeger anytime you have questions or need more information.